Ladies and gentlemen, wormkin, elvenkin, rainbowkin, and genderless human beings, we've got a deck that is actually broken. I finally did it. I finally built my first broken deck. I've been trying to achieve this for the last 6 months. And the new set, the new Kaldheim set is freaking crazy. It's so good. You've got your giants, you've got your white and black angels that they've added in that just make the game so much better. There's some really cool artifacts, there's some really cool enchantments. So I'm going to quickly go over the anatomy of what is now my favorite deck of all time. So it's nothing super crazy special, I don't think. I mean, I watch a lot of these guys that are actually pretty professional at this game. I'm an amateur. I just love this game a lot. So I've been working on this deck since Kaldheim came out. I bought a pre-release kit, physical copies. Yes, I know, I'm old school that way. And I ended up getting an Eradicator Valkyrie. And I saw this card and I went, whoa. First of all, it's a black angel. It's a berserker. And the art is amazing. The art is just so freaking beautiful. I absolutely love this card. It's one of my favorite cards. It reminds me a lot of Marilyn Manson. So you can see we've got 3 copies of this card in the deck. It's got flying, it's got lifelink, it's got hexproof from planeswalkers, and a boast ability, which I don't use a whole lot. You typically have a lot of creatures that I like to sacrifice. Cosmos Elixir. This card is amazing. Gives you 2 life every turn if you don't have 20 or more life. If you do have 20 or more life, you get to draw a card. So, excellent card. You get to use it basically the same turn as it comes out, so at your end step. It helps to keep you in the game. It takes some time to set up the engine in this deck, okay? And let's go over that before we get too ahead of ourselves with all the goodness. So you see the replicating ring. That's our mana rock. That's our ramp. Once this thing goes off after 8 turns, you have almost a near infinite supply of mana. Alright, so the core of the deck is Reflections of Lijar. Now, you're going to see this in a lot of giant decks. The giant decks right now are really powerful. There's a lot of synergy there. But this card is the core of this deck. This deck could not be what it is without this card. Now, that's not entirely true because we do have a win condition in Angel of Destiny. You guys should all know about this card by now. The other main component of this deck is the Righteous Valkyrie. So you can win with just the Righteous Valkyrie. You can win with the Angel of Destiny. And you can win with the Reflections of Lijar. So there are some cards that can carry the game on their own. There's almost no creature removal in this deck. I wish I could sneak more copies of this in. This is an awesome card. I tried putting in, I had like 3 copies of Heartless Act. I had, basically some Wall of Death zombie clerics that were awesome, but they're 0/4, and then they're basically like a growing Grasp of Darkness, which is super awesome. I absolutely love that zombie cleric card, but the problem was we have to be focused on getting this card in play as quickly as humanly possible. I even had some Grim Tutors in here just to tutor this card out when I needed it, but the problem was you have to pay an additional 3 life to use that card. And because it takes time, it takes a little bit of time to set up this engine, you end up getting your butt kicked. Cosmos Elixir helps to keep you in the game. Now, the Righteous Valkyrie, if this comes out when you've got the Reflections of Lijar in play, your opponent is going to rue the day they were born. Or at least the day that they picked up a magic card instead of playing. This card is amazing. This card is so good. You can see I have almost a full playset of this card. These 4 cards actually are kind of the core of this deck in a way. I mean, all the cards are important. But if you get an opening hand with these cards, then you're in good shape, especially with the Birth of Meletis. We got 4 copies of this because we need those walls up. We need to make sure we're always getting land, and we need to gain life to stay in the game long enough to get this going, okay? But if you have this in play, and you play one of these, you're going to get a copy of it right away. So we're replicating our angels. We only replicate our angels. We don't bother replicating our Pegasus or our human clerics. Okay? This deck is only about the Angels. These cards are in here only as support roles. So you can see the Starnheim Aspirant reduces the cost of our Angel spells by 2. Our Starnheim Courser reduces the cost of our enchantments and artifacts by 1. So our Maze Mind Tome, Birth of Meletis, Replicating Ring, Cosmos Elixir, okay? And most importantly, our Reflections of Licharda. So everything is about getting this card in play as early in the game as possible, because once you start replicating your Angel creatures, you're going to be in a good place. So this card here, even if you have no creatures in play, or maybe you've just got a wall, maybe you've got one of these 2 cards out, you play this card, the turn afterwards, if you've got an Angel in your hand, you're going to be catching up really fast. So the reason why this card is so freaking powerful, if you have 27 or more life, your creatures get +2/+2, okay? Every time an Angel or a Cleric enters the battlefield, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. Once it starts going off, it's ridiculous. So what happens is, you play this card, you've already got 1 or 2 of these in play, you replicate this. When it replicates itself, you gain the 4 life right away. Say you've got one of these in play, Starnheim Aspirant, you've got a good solid mana base going, and then you play any other Angel, and you start gaining life. It's overwhelming for the opponent. They don't stand a chance. There's not enough creature removal in the world. You can have a deck of just creature removal. You will not be able to play enough creature removal to reduce the threat enough to survive 1 or 2 turns. So what this card does is, if you play a second spell in a turn, which is really easy to do if you have either of these 2 cards out, and you've got enough mana even to play this in the first place. And again, this can come out for just 3 mana, 2 swamps and a plains if you've got her out. So if you play a second spell, creature spell, artifacts, but it doesn't matter what it is, you get to look at the top 3 cards of your library, 1 of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. So this card can potentially help you find the pieces that you need to finish the engine. I only run 1 copy of this card in here because that's all I can fit in. It's a legendary creature. You can only have 1 in play. You can't replicate it. It's just worth it. It's like a kind of like a mini tutor, but to be able to look at the top 3 cards of your library and put 1 into your hand, that is amazing. And it's a 2/4 with flying and lifelink, so it fits the theme perfectly. Yeah, adding that card just made so much sense. So here's our mana base. It's nothing too crazy or too special. We only have 1 island, as you can see. That is for our Lijara, but we've got 4 Fabled Passages as basically as wild cards, so that we can go ahead and fetch that snow-covered island that we need. And then we've got a couple dual lands. They do come into play tapped, which I don't like, but it just increases your chances of getting that blue mana that you need when you need it, okay? Now, the Replicating Ring, more often than not, the Replicating Ring is going to be used as our blue source of mana. So we've got 7, 8, 9, 10 blue sources of mana potentially in this deck for 1 blue card. So it's not even a splash of blue, it's like a grain of blue, like a grain of salt. It's not, I can't even say it's a pinch, because it's just 1 card. 4 copies of it, so I guess, oh, okay. It's a pinch of blue. We've got a pinch of blue in here. But without Reflections of Lijara, you just have like a pretty decent deck. With the Reflections of Lijara, okay, and some of these other key components, you've got a broken deck, which is something that I've been trying to achieve forever. And I don't like to copy anyone else's deck. Eradicator Valkyrie, can't say enough good things about this card. It can really, really, really help to have multiple copies of this. So we've got 3 in the deck, but again, more than likely, when we start playing that Eradicator Valkyrie, we're gonna have this enchantment in play, and we're gonna have multiple copies of it. It's got lifelink, which is super important. And most of our creatures have flying, so there's a lot of evasion in this deck. I just love it. I just absolutely love it. The Righteous Valkyrie, can't say enough good things about this card. This card just destroys. Okay. So not too bad. Because of the Birth of Meletis, we can take a 2-land opening hand. It's nice to see some of the core components of our deck. We're going to go ahead and try this. I started to get a little fussy with my opening hand. I was stress testing the deck for the last couple days by only taking the opening hand. So I started to take mulligans to try to get a better opening hand with more core components in it. So it's really nice to see a replicator ring early on, because that's pretty much our only source of ramp in this deck, unless we get to play our Pegasus. So see, we can play the Righteous Valkyrie now, and then play a Legion Angel next turn. But I'm gonna wait to get this going. So we're gonna try to get some control happening here. We do have our blue source of mana, which is awesome. So let's see if we can get. That'll work. They're gonna have some sort of creature removal or some fancy tricks or something. So I like to play my Courser and my Aspirant early before I start cracking out Angels, because typically you need time to get this set up anyways. You need to get the mana base sorted out, and you need to have some Angels to play. I don't like to play Angels too early, because they just get wiped out. And if you can play them after this is in play, then you can replicate them, and then you have a better chance of at least one of them surviving into the next round. So you're trying to overwhelm your opponent. And they got a Shark Typhoon. Alright, so we can't play our Reflections yet. We can draw a card, or we can try to ramp a little bit. So we're going to play this now. We'll scry again. I don't mind scrying. Okay, we're going to need that land. So we're going to take that land. That's good. Now, if they take this out, that's fine, because we can still play this next turn. And it also gives them something to... It gives them a target. It gives them something to spend mana on. You know, it'll slow them down a little bit if they're... okay, yeah. So they're going to take the Starnheim. So this is perfect. This is why I like to play those cards early. As long as they don't have any more Banishing Lights. Ooh, another Reflections. We're gonna take it. We're gonna take. I'm gonna leave that right where it is. But Righteous Valkyrie, man, they get that Shark Typhoon Kraken, we're gonna be in trouble here. They're trying to get enough mana to play. This is a 6-drop, but we've already got our Reflections out, so I could play another Reflections next turn before I start cracking out Angels here, which would be really just amazing. I think that's what we're gonna do. Because one copy of Righteous Valkyrie will be replicated 3 times. And all their creatures will immediately get +2/+2 for each one. This is exciting. As long as both my Reflections stay in play, they're in so much trouble. And they're going to play their Shark Typhoon now. It's going to cost them all of their mana. Oh my goodness. Look at this. See what I mean? I have 50 life. I have a 6/10 wall, 3 8/10 Angels. How do you compete with that? What do you do against that? There's not enough Banishing Lights. Yeah, play your Banishing Light. Take whatever you want. Okay, I lose +2/+2. That sucks, but got another Righteous Valkyrie coming out next turn, so... Okay, that's fine. I still get the benefits from that card. So they're trying. So we play another Righteous Valkyrie. Oh, wow. $162 life. Like, this deck is so broken. I have a 12/14. I'm attacking with a 12. I have 5 copies of a Righteous Valkyrie they're all 12/14s. I have 162 life. There's just no way there's no way that they can compete with that. I'll use the Maze Mind as card draw as a mana sink. We'll just leave it right where it is. Like, and even if they have a board wipe, like, wipe the board. Just wipe the slate clean. They're in so much trouble. Like, this is ridiculous. This is what I mean. This deck is broken. It's broken the game. And I just absolutely love it. So we're gonna play this. We're gonna get 3 copies of it, including the original. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Look at this. Oh my god. This is so good. Like, there's no way. Like, even if they did a board wipe or something, there's just no way that they could come back from this. They're sticking it out though. This is amazing. Just like that. I mean, and this is happening consistently.